Such a time as this.
And welcome to For Such a Time as This. We're going live again this morning. Instead of doing a week of uploads, we're just going to do a week of live shows. We're going to ask that you please live chat and text your questions, comments. Please do so. We can react here. It would be much better. Eventually, we want to receive phone calls, or at the very least, call you and bring you on. Before we get going with our show, want to encourage you to go to our web page for such a time as this today. For such a time as this today. There, you can get all of the new material as Big Brother continues to squeeze, as Big Brother continues to censor. We suggest you go to our webpage, and you can always see what the new material is and where we are going. So that is the web page. Here's what I would like to do. Also, if you have any questions, comments, any topics that you think would be great to cover on the show, please send it to our email, forsucha@gmail.com. forsucha@gmail.com. Please send any correspondence you would like to have with us to that email, topics you would like to have, and we will definitely do our best to cover and accommodate. Want to go, before we get into our materials, we're going to talk about James Carville. James Carville is he's sane every once in a while, maybe because he married his wife, but he's sane every once in a while, and so he actually gets into the problem that the Democrats have, that they're buying into the wokeness, they're buying into cancel culture, they're buying into all the crazy foolishness that it seems like the Democratic Party is buying into. Well, he has, I'm not going to say a purely sane moment, but it's not completely delusional. But before we get into that, I would like to show you our website, because some people have criticized me, rightfully so, that I do not tell people a lot of things that's going on. I don't communicate well in that way. So here's the website, Standing for Truth. The latest video is always uploaded. So I would much rather you get the video from our website instead of YouTube. One, that boosts the rating of the website, that will boost it, and two, you'll always get the information there, because we are starting to have to put up stuff on Rumble. And if you just simply look at YouTube, you're going to miss some of our latest stuff. Here you have the blogs right here. Pastor Wee, Justice, Goodbye Charlie Dates, we have that. Join us, you can do that. Join the email list here. And then we are on other platforms. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We're also up on Rumble. And so if you go to our webpage, you'll have a lot better understanding of where we are and what we are doing. So go to, for such a time as this dot today, for such a time as this, for such a time as this dot today, go to the website and you'll always be connected, better connected to what's going on here. So here we go. We're going to, let me talk about what we're going to go over this brief time here on our Tuesday morning. We're going to go over the wokeness. Then we're going to talk about that famous YouTube video. I'm sorry, I love it. I love it. Where the Antifa and the Black Lives Matters is rummaging through the city again, but you had this one patron who stood up, said, no, pulled his firearm. We'll go over that. We'll talk about wokeness when it comes to the police, another viral video. So just to let you know, I have certain conservative platforms that I listen to, I look at, and when they come up with news programs that interest me or clips that interest me, I go ahead and look at it. And as always, through a Christian point of view. So we're going to look at wokeness with the police. We're going to look at the rising persecution in Europe. Europe is persecuting the church. So you have one guy in London, then you have the PM in Finland. We'll go over that. Talk about the viral video about the young lady running with the mask on and collapse over the finish line. And then we're going to bring in, at some point, we're going to bring in Jay Thompson, and he will talk to us again about social justice and blackness. But before we go any further, let us get going with James Carville. Like I said before, James Carville gets some things right every once in a while. Every once in a while, he gets things right. Blackness. So let's listen to one, and this is sad. The cracks in the Democratic foundation, if you could call it that, it's not a crack. He's just one lone Democrat sounding the alarm. So here we go.
I don't want to help rewrite dictionaries. I want to help rewrite laws. And the way that we help President Biden do that is by talking about things that are relevant to people in a way that they can understand it in a clear, distinct, and certain voice. And I believe that. And I'm at a place in life where I can say it, while other people are terrified to say it. They watch people that get fired for the most trivial offenses or retweeting a piece of academic research or something like that. It's just faculty lounge jargon, and it's counterproductive. It gives the aura of cosmopolitan smugness to the rest of the country, that somehow or another we think we're smarter and better than other people, and we're going to lecture them. Where we are, people agree with us on the issues. They like our tax plans. They like to they think climate is an issue. They think that racial inequality, as I do, is a terrible issue in American politics. But the way that you solve that is through power. Acquire political power in the form of congressional seats, Senate seats, presidencies, governors, state legislatures. That's the way it's done. And it's not going to get done attacking 68% of the people who are going to vote in a national election.
Well, there you have it. Some technical difficulties with my phone. There you have it. He's right. He's right. And what he sees is that if the Democrats continue along these lines, they're going to start losing a segment of the population. He said 68%. I don't know if it's that high, but he's going to lose a segment of the population if they keep going down this road. And what segment of the population is he concerned they're going to lose? The sane population. Those who look at the world and still say the grass is green and the sky is blue and men are men and women are women. He's afraid that if the Democrats keep going down this line of thought, they're going to lose the sane population. Now, he says 68%. I wish it was 68%. I don't think it's 68%. I don't know what it is. I don't think it's 68%. But he's concerned. He's concerned because he recognizes that the Democrats are at a point where they are no longer trying to make the case. They're importing illegal aliens and trying to force them to give them the vote so that they can now vote for the patrons that brought them here, the Democrat Party. They're no longer trying to make the case. And this whole wokeness, defund the police, and all this other foolishness, critical race theory, he's afraid it's going to turn off the sane population in America. He says 68. I wish it was that high. But, I mean, he's at a point. He recognizes that there may be a cost to him. He says, I'm too old. I don't care what you think. I'm not afraid of getting canceled. I think he knows there are other people, other quote unquote sane people who are afraid also. I personally think the train has left the station. And I think that the challenge of sanity is not only in the Democrat Party, it's in the Republican Party also. But he's afraid of it. I mean, what he said made sense. You got to give it to James Carville. You got to listen, a broke clock is right twice a day. James Carville just had to be right here. But look at how they react. CNN. James Carville is simply saying if you want to change America, win elections. Win the presidency, Congress, House, Senate, state legislatures, governorships. Why is he saying that? Because he recognizes the Democratic Party no longer believes that. No longer doing that. So look at the reaction. He's saying this on CNN. Look at the reaction of one of the hosts of CNN. It blows my mind.
Well, what do you make of what James Carville is saying?
Well, how do I say this? I have white in-laws and white family members because of my wife, so I've heard that kind of talk before. Pass the gravy, Grandpa. It's okay. I think what he is saying is that the world is moving in a way that he was not expecting it to. What he used to think of as liberal and progressive has shifted, and that's frustrating him, which I understand. It literally happens to all of us. But the whole idea of if things had worked the way he wanted them to, if we'd gotten the racial justice we wanted, we wouldn't be here right now. And the communities who are most impacted by the lack of racial justice are always coming up with new techniques to move the ball forward. So I think that is what is happening there.
So even James Carville will be attacked for daring to sound sane, for daring. Hey, we're live. We've got time. Let's play it again. Let's see exactly what deserved the grandpa comment.
I don't want to help rewrite dictionaries. I want to help rewrite laws. And the way that we help President Biden do that is by talking about things that are relevant to people in a way that they can understand it in a clear, distinct, and certain voice. And I believe that. And I'm at a place in life where I can say it, while other people are terrified to say it. They watch people that get fired for the most trivial offenses or retweeting a piece of academic research or something like that. It's just faculty lounge jargon, and it's counterproductive. It gives the aura of cosmopolitan smugness to the rest of the country, that somehow or another we think we're smarter and better than other people, and we're going to lecture them. Where we are, people agree with us on the issues. They like our tax plans. They like to they think climate is an issue. They think that racial inequality, as I do, is a terrible issue in American politics. But the way that you solve that is through power. Acquire political power in the form of congressional seats, Senate seats, presidencies, governors, state legislatures. That's the way it's done. And it's not going to get done attacking 68% of the people who are going to vote in a national election.
So he's saying, I don't want to rewrite dictionaries. I want to rewrite laws. Well, what is he talking about? I think he's talking about the sanity, or should I say the insanity of transgenderism, the insanity of rewriting what everyone thought was traditionally what racism was. Any race who looked down upon another race. See, rewriting dictionaries, he recognizes that the Democrats are engaging in behaviors and thoughts that are no longer saying that the Democrats are trying to rewrite the dictionary. Words and concepts that we traditionally held in this country, the Democrats are attacking. And he says 68% of the people are going to reject the changing of the English language, rewriting the dictionary. Like I said, James Carville, a broke clock is right twice a day. And I know you younger generation, you're saying, Pastor James, that doesn't make sense. If the digital clock is out, then you don't have anything on a display. I'm talking about the old school clocks with the hands. Never mind, whatever. So that's that. Mr. James Carville looked like he's going to get canceled from the Democrat Party. And think about this. When James Carville gets canceled from the Democrat Party, wow, one of their heroes. Wow. All right, moving to the next one. I probably shouldn't admit this, but I loved this video. I really like this video. Antifa and BLM was marching down the streets, acting like common thugs, threatening people in a metropolitan area. I think it was in Kentucky. It's Kentucky or Missouri, one of those southern states. You can see it. It's up on our Facebook page. Well, they're going through, and people who are sitting out, minding their own business, having a nice little lunch or dinner. I'm not sure what time of the day it was. And they want to walk down the street with a crowd, chanting the foolishness that they do. Silence is violence. Whites need to stand up and speak against white people. Isn't that something? And they ran across the wrong group. I'm sorry, I like this video. Get him.
I know, you got two people holding guns on me. I know. Try to settle this now. None of us should pull our guns out.
No, do not photo me. Do not photo me. You pull that gun. I don't care. Do not. Stop putting your fucking.
All right. I'm sorry, I like that video. So you see the crowd actually had armed, quote unquote, security with them, I read. So the crowd, if you saw the men who had seemed like AR-15s, guns pointed down, correct position, they were with the crowd. And it was those gentlemen who were talking to the gentleman who apparently was eating in the outside restaurant. It was two of them. You see the white-haired man had a little Derringer or something, and he was standing there. Right? Now, that little pistol, some people can say that little pistol is not going to do anything against that crowd. Well, you got to think like the coward thugs in the rabble-rousel, the group. It reminds me of the old Western where Cowboy had a 6-shooter and it had 10 men in a bar. And he had a 6-shooter and one of them said, "It's 10 of us. You only got 6 shots. So after you shoot 6 of us, 4 of us are going to be left. What do you say to that, cowboy?" And the cowboy responded, "Well, which 6 of you are going to sacrifice his life so that the other 4 can get me? Step up." And there were no takers. So you can laugh at that little Derringer with that group. That old man is saying, which one of y'all going to sacrifice your life for the sake of the group? Bring it. And then you had the other gentleman. If you saw it over there, he must have been shooting them the one-finger salute. And the one little girl was real upset, had the bullhorn, wanted to come at him. He had a pistol too. You saw that as he was going into the restaurant. He had one at his side, giving him the one-finger salute, and he was coming. Look, this is sad. It's sad we are in this situation as our country continues to reject the absolute objective truth of God and His Word. Looking at these kids, these kids with no direction, it's sad. It's sad. They ran across 2 men who said, "I don't care if you have a crowd, not bagging down." That could have turned real ugly. And mark my words, while those 2 men stood there, right, and nothing happened, you keep doing this, something's going to happen. I don't understand why Antifa and BLM can march down a street with people open carrying ARs with the group and that be legal. That's allowed. Sooner or later, if that young girl would have gotten to that man, remember you saw they were holding her back? If that young girl had gotten to that man would have pulled the trigger, what do you think the ramifications throughout our country would have been? I could tell you what the headlines would have been in CNN and New York Times and whatnot. Racist white man kills innocent little teen. That's what it would have been. That's what the news article would have said. That would have been the title. The man is sitting down eating his lunch or dinner, and this thuggerish group comes marching down the street, disrupting these people with ARs open carrying, ARs and pistols, yelling at these men simply because of the color of their skin. And what do you want them to do? They're expected to run inside with their tails between their legs. Not those two men. Nope. Hats off to them. I like that video. Hats off to them. But if you keep this up, people, sooner or later, two people like those two gentlemen are going to be forced to defend themselves, and a shot will be fired, and people will die. It's going to happen in our country as we continue to reject God and sanity that comes with embracing the truth. Think about this. What is the definition of insanity? I think the definition of insanity is you have a loose relationship, if any relationship, with reality. Those who embrace the transgender program, those who are embracing the critical race theory and calling it Christian, they have a loose affiliation with the truth, a loose affiliation with sanity. And sooner or later, that scene you just saw, somebody's going to be forced. Hey, look, I'm just going to be honest with you. I'm like those two men. I'm not just going to go into that restaurant just because y'all acting a fool. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. And sooner or later, somebody's going to get hurt. Somebody's going to get hurt. The wokeness hit the streets in a U.S. city, and now the wokeness is hitting the police. Here's the next video, pretty viral. Woman gets pulled over by police, and look at the utter and complete disrespect. I couldn't be a police officer. I'm telling you right now, I could not be a police officer. I don't have the temperament. I'm serving the community. If I'm the mind of a police, when people are in trouble, when evil men are wielding knives and guns and hurting people, they call the police. And the police go there heroically. This woman is clearly wrong. Gets pulled over by the police. I couldn't do it. I'm telling you now, I don't have the temperament. I couldn't do it. Here it is.
You know why I'm being harassed today? Because I was going under the speed limit. I was going at 38.
Yes, you are, ma'am. Good morning.
And the speed limit is 40, and I was going 38, so why are you harassing me?
You are correct. I pulled you over because
you're a murderer. Yes, I started to record because you're a murderer.
You can't be on your cell phone while you're driving.
I wasn't on my phone. I was recording you because you scared me.
You can't use your cell phone while you're recording.
I can record you.
May I have your driver's license?
It's at my apartment.
What's your apartment?
It's at my home. I'm just taking my son to his.
Do you have your driver's license?
I mistakenly left it at home.
Do you have a picture of your driver's license?
Yes, I do.
May I have it?
And can you call your supervisor, please?
I already did. He's on his way.
Good, because you're a murderer.
Okay.
And so you're giving me a cell phone ticket? Is that why you're harassing me?
Not harassment. I am enforcing the law.
I have a right to record the police when they're harassing me.
By all means, but you can't do it while you're driving.
I wasn't texting or none of that.
Do you have that picture?
You scared me and made me think you were going to murder me.
Okay, well, I'm sorry you feel that way.
Well, that's not just a feeling. You're a murderer.
Okay. Can you zoom in on that for me, Jay?
Sure.
Thank you.
And I'm perfectly legal, and I'm a teacher. So there.
Congratulations.
Murderer. You're a murderer.
What's your last name? I can't see that there.
Well, here you go,
Stop
murderer.
shaking. Zoom in on that for me,
No, because you're scaring me. You're threatening to kill me and my son. Can you give me
the well,
iPad,
I'll tell you what, you keep smiling.
Yeah,
you're on camera.
You're trying to threaten to kill me. I'm not smiling. You're the one who's...
Hold that still. I can't see that. Is this your car?
Yes, it is. And you're trying to say I stole my own car because what
I don't
that's
think so.
about?
You wait for me right here, okay?
You're jealous.
You got the citation. All you need to do is your signature. He's only citing you for using your cell phone while you're driving. That's it.
Here you go, ma'am. Sign inside the red box right
For
there.
him being a Mexican racist. What is that name? Gas.
It's on the citation, ma'am.
Here you go, Mexican racist. You're always going to be a Mexican. You'll never be white. You know that, right? You'll never be white, which is what you really want to be.
There you
want
go,
to be
dear.
white.
Have a good day.
You want to be white so bad.
And she proves what I've said all along. It is the liberal that's the true racist. It's the liberals. And what angers me and saddens me at the same time is that minorities can't see it. Minorities cannot see it. It is the white liberal who thinks that blacks are so stupid, that minorities are so weak, that the white liberal needs to save them. That it's the black community and the Latino community that are so stupid they can't get their own state IDs so that they can vote. That's racist. That's racist. And so what you see in this video is amazing to me. It's amazing. It's amazing that you could treat police officers that way. He should have given her at least 6 or 7 other. That has to be illegal. That has to be. She's got to figure out. He has got to figure out a way to give that woman 6 or 7 tickets. Has to. And she's a school teacher. I don't see LeBron James blasting her picture all over, saying she's next. And that was clearly racist. You're a Mexican. You're a Mexican racist, and you'll never be white, because that's what you want to be. You want to be white like me. You want to be. How is that not clearly racist? She's sitting up calling the man a Mexican racist. Really? I couldn't do it. Couldn't be a police officer. If I was a police officer, she would have had about 17 tickets by the time she drove away. 17. But in our culture, that's accepted. You can abuse, verbally assault police officers doing it. She's clearly wrong. She was on a daggone phone, but she claims I was taping you. I'm not going to even get into that. None of that makes sense. But teacher, probably part of the teachers union, and I know not everybody part of the teachers union are like that woman, but that was racist. Clearly racist. Clearly. And how we ask police to put up with that. I don't ask police to put up with it. You should have. You should. Hey man, you should have given us 17 tickets. 17 tickets. But hats off to him. Hats off to all the police officers. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. Not when you call me when you have a problem, but when you clearly in the wrong and I give you a ticket. But that's wokeness. The disrespecting of authority. The disrespecting of the very people that you depend on to keep you safe from the gangbangers. I tell you what, go down to the west side of Chicago and call them racist. Talk to them and see how much they put up with that. You'll be calling the police then. All right, anyway. Next topic. People from a Christian perspective. Let's not lose sight of this. Whether it's in Canada or other parts of the world, the church is under assault. I believe the devil is behind a lot of this stuff. It's not just one country, and it's not just one front, right? It's all over the world. And there's deception and evilness happening all over the world. And when you see that, one of the hallmark, I think, proofs that this is the devil working behind the scenes around the world. The reason why I say that is because the attack on the church is being ramped up. Yesterday, we talked about it in Canada with the pastor. They're going after him. And today, I'm going to show two more examples. One, look at this old godly man. And few of us have the courage. I think I've done it once or twice. I used to do it a lot more when I was in college. But to stand up in a public place, to open your Bible and to proclaim the word of God to sinners who need it, that's courage. Hats off to this man that I'm about to show you in London, preaching, call them open air preachers. At least that's what they used to call them when I was in college, open air preachers. And if you look at it, if you listen closely, the police are called to the scene. The police are there because they say he is saying things that's upsetting people. He's preaching from the Bible, and what he's saying is upsetting some of the people in the open area, which means he was probably being faithful to Scripture. If he's upsetting some of the sinners, maybe he's just preaching the word of God. So because him opening the Bible and preaching is upsetting people, they called the police on him. And the police, if you listen careful enough, where some people are saying you're saying some hurtful things and it's upsetting, so you need to stop. And he was like, no, I'm not breaking any laws. So look at this. In London, the word of God, the people of God, they're under assault. Watch this.
Listen to what my colleagues are saying. Listen to what my colleagues are saying. Listen to what my colleagues are saying. Stand on the step. Listen to what my colleagues are saying to you. There's no law against standing on the step. I'm not obstructing the highway. If people want to pass by, they can pass by. I'm not obstructing. Listen to my colleagues. Mate, I don't mind you filming, but it's okay. Fine, yeah? Okay, fine. You do not have to say anything, but it may harm your defence if you do not mention my unbelievable. Anything you do say may be given evidence, okay? The reason for this is because we've had multiple reasons to say that you
man's preaching the word of God. Are you listen to this member of the public? Okay, well, let's look at this is what my colleague is saying. This is been offended. You're on the ring. You want to come down? You need to come down, otherwise we'll put it on. Are you going to come down or not? You're under arrest. You need to come down. Are you going to step down? I have not broken the video. Step down, though. You need to step down. You need to step down. Look at this. Easy, easy. He's an old man, mate. He's an old man. He's an old man. He's an old man, mate. Take it easy with him. Preaching the word of God. Why?
The Lord God Almighty.
Well, praise the Lord.
The Lord God Almighty. Persecution has come to Britain.
God bless you.
Well, it did look like that old man was taking a swing at the police. I don't know what he was doing. That's what it looked like to me. But I hope he wasn't trying to play heavyweight champ with the police. But I don't know. So, but here's the thing. Again, for such a time as this, we're going to look at current events through a biblical lens. Here's the biblical lens. Don't get caught up in all this coronavirus stuff. Critical race theory. China and Russia against this and that. Biden, Democrats, Republicans. It really is a battle between God and the devil. The battle's already won, but the struggle and the battle is the devil is trying to bring as many people as he can with him to the lake of fire. And so don't get caught up in all the shiny little quarters here and there. How many people, this COVID, that COVID death, vaccine passports. All those things are very interesting, to say the least. But at the end of the day, the devil wants to disrupt. The devil wants to destroy. The people of God wants to destroy as many humans as he possibly can and bring them to hell with him. That is what he wants. That's what the purpose is. So as all these things are going on, COVID count and this and that, bloop, 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 remember, at the end of the day, he's trying to destroy the people of God. That's what he's doing. So you see in London, they're attacking the church. Also in Finland, I've done some shows on this lady before. I really, really like her. She seems to be a true warrior for the king. Let's look at her and see her fight as the attack on Christianity in Europe continues. Here we go.
A former government minister and current MP in Finland has formally been charged over a tweet she posted about homosexuality. Päivi Räsänen is accused of inciting hate towards a group of people. Back in 2019, she posted a picture of her Bible open at Romans 1:24-27, which describes homosexuality as shameful. In the post, she questioned the decision of the Evangelical Lutheran Church in Finland, of which she was a member, to support a local gay pride event. Following complaints, she was questioned by police and an investigation was launched into her actions. The results of that action have led to her being charged over the tweet, as well as comments she made on TV in 2018 and a pamphlet about marriage which she wrote in 2004. All charges are linked to hate speech. In a statement, Finland's prosecutor general claimed the MP's actions were derogatory and discriminatory, while her statements had violated the equality and dignity of gay people. Vowing to fight the charges, Ms. Räsänen said, "I will go to the court with a peaceful and brave mind, trusting that Finland is a constitutional state where the freedoms of speech and religion, which both are guaranteed in international agreements and in our constitution, are respected." A conviction based on the Christian faith is more than a superficial opinion. The early Christians did not renounce their faith in lions' caves. Why should I then renounce my faith in a courtroom? I will not step back from my conviction nor from my writings. I do not apologize for the writings of the Apostle Paul either. I am ready to defend freedom of speech and religion as far as is necessary. The politicians is being supported by religious freedom organization ADF International. Raising concern.
That is a modern day Deborah. As this lady continues to stand up. She's been doing this for years. They've been going after her for years. They have been hating on her for years. And she stands strong. She's not bagging down. That woman is amazing. I love her. Boy, mother of 5, grandmother of 6. She is the real deal. She is a shining light in Europe as Europe continues to crack down on Christianity. And it's absolutely horrible. All right. Switching gears. Next topic we're going to talk about is the wokeness, not only in our culture, not only in the church, but in our families and our most intimate people, the people we work with. It's everywhere. It is everywhere. And so with that, I want to bring on the show the doctor of everything woke, Mr. J. Con Thompson. Jay, are you there?
I am here, James. Let's get into this.
All right. So Jay finally ran across a man by the name of Vodi Bakum that I have been telling him about for years. And Vodi Bakum has said some things that just clicked with you, Jay, right? It just clicked, right?
That's right.
First of all, before we get into his first video, what I understand that you have been wrestling with this critical race theory in your life? Do you want to share anything? just in brief in general.
I was a huge social justice advocate. Everything that you hear some of these people say, I was saying, but oh man, let's get into the videos, James, because it's just gonna.
All right, here's the first one. Vodi Bakum is going to go into. He's saying that Christians, and those who claim to know the Lord, that and I think when I cut it in, he's quoting someone else, but he's adopting this mentality that we as Christians need to be careful with the term social justice, and that we should never. His sentiment is that we shouldn't use it. Here's the first clip. Here we go.
I have come to feel strongly that the greatest service I can still render to my fellow men would be that I could make the speakers and writers among them thoroughly ashamed ever again to employ the term social justice. And I could not agree more with that sentiment. I think it's a term that we need to avoid to any and every degree that we can. And I think it's a term that we don't get. One of my all-time favorite movie characters is Inigo Montoya. And if you don't know who he is, you might need to go reevaluate your faith and watch The Princess Bride. But Inigo Montoya has this famous line, "You keep on using that word. I do not think it means what you think it means."
So, Jay, you're a little younger than me. Did you ever watch The Princess Bride?
No, I know of it, but I've never seen it.
Oh yeah, that's one of my favorite movies. To Illinois Montana.
Really?
Oh yeah, the guy kept every time the guy was chasing him, he keeps going over these hurdles, and he keeps saying inconceivable, impossible. and Illinois Montana look at him and says, "That word you keep using, I don't think it means what you think it means." Because he keeps doing it. What are you talking about impossible? The man keeps doing it.
Right. That's good.
Inconceivable. So, but anyway, Jay, that struck a chord with you. Why?
I think because he's right. I didn't know what social justice meant.
Yeah.
And I don't think most people that I am arguing with, debating with, know truly what social justice means.
Mm-hmm.
And so Vodi does a masterful job of explaining the definition of social justice. But I have a question about this, but we'll get into it. I don't know if you want to show the other clip.
Yeah, I can show the other clip right now. And so his point is the word, he keeps saying, the word you keep using, I don't think it means what you think it means. And then later on, he actually defines the term. Yeah. Here it is.
The Oxford Dictionary of the English Language. Social justice. It's a noun. Chiefly politics and philosophy. Justice at the level of a society or state as regards the possession of wealth, commodities, opportunities, and privileges. And it says, see, distributive justice. Again, this is not me. This is the Oxford Dictionary of the English Language. And it says social justice is distributive justice. It's distributive justice. And specifically in politics and philosophy, it's justice at the level of a society or a state as regards possession of wealth, commodities, opportunities, and privileges. That's what social justice means. That's not what I say social justice means. That's what the Oxford Dictionary of the English Language says social justice means.
All right, Jay, take it away.
Man, I'm still fresh off this. This has been a couple days since so I'm still riding high right now off of this information.
Okay.
But I remember when I heard that, I paused the video right then and there. I said, wait a minute. That sounds like socialism.
Sounds like.
I said, wait. Distributive justice, distribution of commodities, and what? I said, whoa, time out. That sounds like, and I remember what I did. I called you. Immediately. I said, James, based off the definition of social justice, this sounds a lot like socialism.
And what got me was, I've been telling you that for 2 years. Vodi Bakum says it in a sermon here, and all of a sudden, but go ahead.
You're right. You are right.
Go ahead.
And I think what Vodi does is he brings it all together.
Yeah, he's good. He's smarter than I am. So, so he got through to you.
All together, how critical race theory is intertwined with this social justice. He explains the Holy Trinity, which is diversity, inclusion, and equity. He explains how that is the Holy Trinity of this social justice movement. So this has been around for a while. Here's where I'm alarmed now, because in my organization, Christian or proclaimed to be Christian organization,
self-professing, yes.
Self-professing Christian organization, they are eating up this social justice, which is a front for, all things horrible, communism, all this socialism, all this crazy stuff. They are eating this up like it's like that's what they should be doing. Like it's straight from the Bible.
Yep.
And
this
like
is true Christianity.
Says, this
is true Christianity.
It means what you think it means. And so I'm shocked. I wouldn't be alarmed, James. Honestly, I wouldn't be alarmed if this was, because this has been around for a while. They've been trying to do this for a while. I wouldn't be alarmed if it stayed in this corner of the world, in this corner of politics. I'd say, whatever, it's just another ideology. Probably not going to get no traction. But I see it in the church.
Yep.
One of the number one books, White Fragility, he talks about that, and then How to Be an Anti-Racist. Churches, Christian, self-proclaiming Christian organizations are using this. Five Fortune 500 companies are having this guy speak and explain these ideologies. We're creating laws to ban this thought in our schools. In Florida, they created a law you can't teach CRT. This is crazy. This is everywhere. It's pervasive. It's everywhere. It's pervasive. It's everywhere.
Everywhere.
And now we have to fight against it. And the scary part is there are a lot of people who are proponents for social justice, and I do not think it means what they think it means. I don't think they realize what their case in point. There's a guy I work with, and he is a huge advocate of socialism. I mean, me and him go at it almost every day. Mm-hmm. And I said, hey, man, can I share with you the definition of social justice? And I read the definition of social justice, and he stopped and said, that sounds like socialism. And
ding, 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 ding.
I said, exactly. And he said, that's not social justice. That's socialism. I said, no, that's social justice.
Jay, what don't... Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So he says, well, people have been, and here's my question. People have been using, different, names for years. We take meanings and we take names and I mean something different. Is that possible to take social justice and to say, well, I'm an advocate for social justice, but here's what I mean? I think that's very dangerous.
Well, you know why it's dangerous? Because it doesn't matter what you necessarily mean. Joe Biden means that way. The Democrats in Congress means that way. Pritzker, the governors, the ruling party right now means it that way. Socialism. That's exactly what they mean. So you can try to say it if you want, but the rest of the world, they're pushing forward this ideology.
And we have to see, I've gone from disagreeing with it to actively fighting against it. Yeah. That's two different positions. Yeah. Before I'd say, I disagree. I'm not going to partake in any of that stuff. No. You're not going to catch me with a BLM. No, all this stuff is connected.
Yeah.
But now I see it as so dangerous that I believe in our day and age, this is our battle. Actually, we have to actively
Absolutely.
fight. We have to actively fight against CRT and BLM and critical race theory. Otherwise, we're sitting on the sidelines and we're just letting the enemy take ground. That's crazy.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And we have a saying here at New Hope. I know you've heard it, Jay. I'll tell people again. Don't tell me what you believe. Tell me what you're willing to fight for. For that therein lies your convictions. So I don't want to hear people that would agree with us behind closed doors.
Right.
That would agree with us on phone calls, private phone calls, or that would agree with us in emails, private emails. No, that's not good enough because the rest of the world is burning.
Yeah.
And the church is confused. And the greatest, in my opinion, in my humble opinion, the greatest problem is not necessarily critical race theory. The greatest problem is cowardice to fight critical race theory. You have these quote unquote men who are head of organizations that meet on Sunday morning who refuse to refute according to the scriptures. And last time I checked in Titus 1, that was a requirement of being a pastor, a teaching elder. That was a requirement that you would be willing to rebuke. Jesus rebuked, Paul rebuked, Peter rebuked, all the prophets rebuked. Heck, that was the job definition of a prophet, is to rebuke people when they're in error, right?
Right.
Yet you have pastors that refuse to rebuke the one thing that's burning the visible church down. But Jay, I do believe God is using this.
I think so.
To separate the sheep from the goats, the wheat from the tares.
We're seeing it.
We're seeing it because if you're such a coward that you are going to sit back and let the bride of Christ struggle like this. Jay, that's akin, and again, a true pastor, that's akin to you having seen one of your daughters in a pool struggling, drowning, and you sitting there saying, baby, I'm for you. I love you. Stroke harder, baby. Stroke harder. When she going down.
Now, that's interesting, James, because do you think that there's some pastors in the church who don't see this as that big of an issue?
Well, then they're
see
not
this
qualified.
as attacking
Nah, Jay, I don't. There's Jay when the government sees it.
Yeah.
When Ron DeSantis, the governor of Florida, sees it, and they've passed it in other states. Are you telling me a secular official has more discernment than you? Then you're not qualified to be a pastor. Then,
come on. Yeah.
If Trump, who in my opinion is not the strongest believer, if he is a believer at all, I don't believe so. But I don't know the man personally. Hey, who knows what God has wrought in the man's heart? If Trump has enough discernment that he banned it from the federal government. If a pastor doesn't see this as a threat to the church, I struggle, and again, I'm not God, I'm not playing God, but I struggle to see how the Spirit of God works in you.
Yeah. I think Vody opened my eyes when he said, there is an oppressor, and this is their systems, right? This ideology has this system that says if you're in power and you're the oppressor, and then there's the oppressed, and about how in this CRT and BLM, how Christianity, one of the oppressed, thought, Vody, are you stretching here? And I thought, no. There's mouths, how they said from the Christian God, wait a minute, it's starting to make sense now. They are trying to, they call it church, to go away from the system, as they say, of evangelical Christianity, because it is an oppressive system. I've been accused of being an oppressor type because of my Christian values and my Bible shaming of using the scriptures. So it's starting to click. And pretty soon, if we don't say anything, they are going to start saying, yes, Christianity, you're a Christian, you're an oppressor.
Yep. They're already starting
You are an oppressor, yes.
They're already starting it, as you see, and I apologize. It seems as though we're having some streaming issues. Hopefully, it's not my equipment. I think it's Comcast here. But if you are on this hopefully it'll get past this. So we're having streaming issues, but that's okay. Jay, right before you came on, I saw and I was explaining to people that the devil, if this is the devil, one of the hallmark signs you will see that this is the devil is that he will go after the church. And he's doing it in Europe.
Mm-hmm.
He's doing it in Canada.
Mm-hmm.
And he's going to start doing it here real soon. So
yeah.
that's what's going on. So, yep. Say live.
It's already here, man.
It's already here. Yep. It's not coming.
Yeah.
It's not coming. It's here.
It's already here. Yeah.
Yep.
Brace yourselves.
Yep. Brace ourselves. So, but anyway, anything else as we close down?
What is up with Austin, Texas, and these communists? Where did that come
we've got
from?
to do a video on that. We have to do a video
goodness,
on that.
we'll save that for another day.
We'll save that for another.
James, have you ever seen anything like that in your lifetime?
No, heck no. That used to be illegal. You used to couldn't do that. They used to put people in internment camps for that, right? We used to. It used to be where that was clearly evil. That we recognize communism as evil.
Yeah.
But I guess no longer. No longer. So, all right. So we just got a hiccup throughout. Just to let people know, now we've got the streaming back. It must have been something with Comcast. It's green now, so we should be getting good streaming on there. You know what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to take this recording to let people know, and I'll upload it so you can have a clean recording of this. But we should be green now, and things should be straightened out. Yeah. But anyway, Jay, we're going to get back to this. Now our country can no longer see, and it makes sense. We no longer live in a country where we can clearly see the difference between good and evil.
Yeah.
And so now you have communism being heralded as a viable alternative to capitalism. And here's what I want.
Go
ahead.
I was going to say with that, politically, people may say, well, you keep talking politics. Well, that affects, us as Christians big time in the sense of, we've been privileged to live in a free country where we can practice our religion. That's not like that everywhere.
No.
And so it's pretty soon going to, almost here, where we're not going to be able to be free to practice our religion, our faith, like we've had the privilege to do that for the past years, generations. And so
it's a godless ideology. It's a godless government. And so you have a government that says God doesn't exist and we're going to smash the church. And then for people to say, well, you're talking politics. Excuse me? Excuse me?
Yeah.
Yes, I'm going to talk politics when you have a government that is anti-God. Yes, it affects the church. And let me tell you this too. Maybe we need to do this one day. The myth. Maybe we'll talk about the myth of separation of church and state. It's a myth.
Yeah.
It's a myth.
Yeah.
It's an absolute myth.
Yeah.
Absolute myth.
Yep.
So, but anyway, we'll call it a day. I had some other stuff in my stack.
James, as always, thank you.
No, thank you. Everybody, thank you for joining us. Again, we had a little hiccup there. Maybe I'll upload this the recording so we can have a clean copy of it. But thank you, Jay. Again, thank you as always. Maybe I'll have you back later on in the week. As this week we're going to do more live streaming instead of uploading. So, all right. Gracias. Have a good day. God bless. And remember, Jesus is the answer. Doesn't matter the question. Talk to you all soon. Bye-bye.